Snag fishing is a term that's used a lot in carp fishing. It's something that's in the lake or around it that's going to potentially harm your chances of landing the fish safely. You're going to find a variety of snags in lakes across the country. You know, it's going to be reeds, lilies, underwater trees, overhanging bushes in the margins, just anything really that is in the water that can potentially cut your line or snag your lead system on or get hooked up on. So today we're just at a club lake in Essex. There's a road bank, it's got snags running the whole length of that bank, underwater trees and reeds and all manner of things that the carp are just going to love. When I come down, I tend to just head straight for the snags. You can walk and you can look as much as you like, but the open water, it can seem dead sometimes. And you look straight towards the snags and it just like it's full of life. There's bubbling, there's fizzing, there's fish, you know, moseying around in the back, fish showing even in the snags. Open water, like I say, will do bites, but for me it's all about getting quick bites and as many as I can, so I head straight for them snags. So when snag fishing, it does come with a lot of responsibility. There could be fatal consequences, you know, for the carp's point of view. The most important thing is obviously the carp safety. So a few things to consider. If the worst does happen and you lose a fish, make sure that lead can come off, because you don't want them dragging around a leg into the snags. So I'm not saying that you have to drop the lead every time, but if you get cut off, it's essential that it needs to come off. Secondly, use strong line. You're fishing up to snags that could potentially cut through weak line, so use something like 15 or 20 pound touchdown, and it just ensures that you've got that pulling power and the strength in the line to be able to steer them away from the snags. So I'm using a dark matter braided hook link, and I'm also using a Korda Y-Gape X in a size 4. Now you may think that that's quite a big hook, but along with an 18mm hook bait which I'm using, it's not really, and I just want to be assured that I'm going to land the carp. So fishing locked up means you have your clutch screwed completely tight. The carp should not be able to take any line off your reel whatsoever, and your rod also needs to be locked down tight with butt grips on the backrest that completely grip your rod, so the rod can't be pulled forward essentially. I use single bank sticks when I'm snag fishing, just purely because if I had them on buzz bars, you know, they could be fishing to different angles, and ideally you want your line angle as straight as possible to the spot. So it takes the possibility of the carp using the bend in the rod to be able to get into the snags. So when you're fishing to snags, you definitely want to be fishing with a tight line. Today, there's nothing in between my rod tips and the snags themselves, so I'm fishing a tight line to a small Korda intelligent back lead. It just keeps the line pinned down, but yeah, tight lines help to give you better bite indication, and obviously you don't want that fish picking up any slack and making its way into the snags at all, so tight lines all the way. Equally important as the butt grip are the snag bars. Now I'm using the Korda stow bars today, and they ultimately just protect your rod from being dragged in if you have a savage take, which is more often than not when you're fishing to snags. The best way I find to fish to snags is by using your line clip. So obviously you pick a spot that you feel is safe enough to fish. With the aid of your line clip, get as close to the snag as you can. Just have a few chucks. Obviously, if you drop a little bit short, just pay off a foot or 2 foot, clip it up in your reel, go again. And yeah, once you feel happy with your spot, I always take note of how many wraps it is on the distance sticks. Basically, I don't have to recast again. I know exactly how many wraps it is, and I can get back out onto my spot straight away within one cast. It's all well and good having all the gear, so the snag ears, the butt grip, and obviously your rod pointing to the spot. But the most important thing is to always be on your rods. Unfortunately, you can't be in your mate's swim next door or nipping back to the car. A bite could be imminent, you know. Always be there. If you're not, it's only going to end badly for the carp.